So now that we've introduced the basic concepts, what I want to do is work through a problem here. And so when we move back to this area, we hired KraftMaid, or we bought some custom cabinets from KraftMaid. And so just imagine that they're a manufacturer here with the with this following partial balance sheet. And so we have our beginning and our ending balances given for the since it's a partial balance sheet, we'll be looking at raw materials, work in process, and finished goods. And say that the amounts that we have here, we'll just make those tidied up here. So say we have 10,000 in beginning, 15,000 in ending for raw materials, 15,000 beginning work in process, 12,000 ending work in process. Let me fill that out more fully. And then we have our finished goods of 30 at the beginning and 32 at the end. And then other relevant data. So we would have purchases of raw materials of 350,000 throughout the year. And notice how Excel sometimes it likes to think ahead, and so it's like, okay, well, you've done everything else with dollar signs and no and 0 decimal places, so we'll go ahead and do that as well. Say we have direct labor costs again for the year of 200,000. Sorry about that. Let me. And incurred overhead of 175. So basically we want to know, okay, well, what is cost of goods sold? And so with any of these problems, when we have this material, if we want to know what's cost of goods sold, well, we need to do an account analysis of finished goods. So if the question is what is cost of goods sold, we need to do an account analysis here. Well, to know what's gone through finished goods, as we saw on the previous page, to know what cost of goods sold is, we need cost of goods manufactured. Well, to know cost of goods manufactured, we need to do an account analysis of work in process, and but before we know what that is, one of the elements of that would be the materials issued into production, which would require an account analysis of raw materials. So here we would find cost of goods manufactured, and then here we would find direct materials. So that's what we'll be solving for when we do an account analysis of each of these different accounts. So again, following what we had done before with raw materials, if we would do our account analysis here, we had our beginning balance was $10,000, and then we had our ending balance is $15,000. And so then we would, to account for, so if we follow this concept of to account for, that would be the sum of these two, and accounted for would also accounted for, so let me just be more clear about that, accounted for would have to equal whatever that is to account for. So that means we would need to be solving for what we have here for our direct materials. Well, in this case, the additions to raw materials would be our purchases. And so we have that data right here. And now notice that will add that up. So then we have 360,000 that we have to account for. So this is our purchases. So let me put that in here as well. So that means our direct materials amount must be what we needed to account for minus the ending balance. So 345,000 will be what we move into out of raw materials and into work in process.